I'm backing up my truck, I'm gonna hook it up, loading up my boat with all my gear. I've been working hard all week, trying to make ends meet, spending time wishing I was fishing. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing. Gather up your gear and come along. Well, Terry Wickstrom wants to take you fishing.
This is Terry Wickstrom. Join Karen Cullum, Greg Claudio, and me as we take you to some of our favorite fishing spots from Colorado to Minnesota, the Arctic Circle to Central America and beyond. As we revisit episodes of Mountain States Fishing and Angling Adventures Television on the best of fishing with Terry Wickstrom.
Hey, we're out here today. We're revisiting Glendo Reservoir. We did an ice fishing show here a long time ago. In fact, this is the guy we did it with, Pat O'Grady, makes the PK and a flutter spoon. Is that right, Pat?
Yes.
And good to fish with you again.
Good to fish with you, Terry.
And of course, we got our friends from Sun Honda who have become the ice fishing gurus of the Colorado area. Ron, we created a monster when we got you out with Bernie at Granby, and now you've been going ice fishing like every week.
Yep, it's been a good time. I really enjoyed it.
We're having a good time. But
We are.
A couple things we want to do. And of course, Mark, you see this guy, all he does is come and catch fish. That's all he does. And you see Les over on the other end. Willie from the Harley side, did we talk to him?
Yeah.
Okay, well, he's good. So we got the Sun guys and Pat, and we're going to go out and revisit Glendo Reservoir. And what we want to show you today are a couple things in particular. One, we want to show you some of Pat's new spoons. We want to reacquaint you with Glendo and the fantastic fishing opportunity that it brings to the people who live in this area. We also want to talk to you about the use of ATVs and mobility when you're ice fishing. You know, when you're out ice fishing, especially for walleyes, Pat, sometimes they're there, sometimes they're not. If any fish is mobile, it'll move around. It's a walleye. Sometimes you got to go look for them.
Yeah, I mean, to fish the way I fish, an ATV is absolutely mandatory. I mean, the only time I don't use them is when the ice is 2 inches thick.
All right, I'll tell you what, we're going to go out, we're going to show you Glendo Reservoir using ATVs to chase the walleyes, maybe a few catfish. So let's get out on the ice and catch some fish, guys.
All right.
Do it. Right.
Okay.
Every once in a while, I'll just sit there and do like this, and that's actually just hitting the bottom, okay? And every once in a while, I like to pick it up like that, just simply to draw fish from a further distance. But I don't do that too terrible often. And then I just sit and work, lift and drop. I mean, it's all been like 6 to 12 inch, just like this.
These fish hit harder than lake trout or no?
Some of them have been banging it pretty decent. 90% of the time, you'll think almost as if you're getting a perch. You know what I mean? If you feel something, you know there's a fish looking at it. Okay? Then slow down just a little bit, and right then is when you want to just do this right here. And it makes those minnows.
Okay. Good.
Pat, this is one of your spoons that you've designed.
Yes.
We're out here on Glendo Reservoir. Tell us about how we're going to be fishing today and how you rig these spoons up and then how we're going to fish them.
Okay, what I like to do is, you know, of course, I've been fishing up here for a while and been doing pretty good with fish down through this area for about 75 yards here. And what I like to do is most normally I don't fish bait on these, but this year it's been a pretty finicky bite up here, so I've been adding a small minnow to these, actually one on the top hook, one on the bottom hook. It's got 2 trebles on it. And it just simply adds a little bit of scent and flash to it as I'm working them. We're working them real easy right off the bottom. The normal way the guys have been fishing this for years.
Les missed one already.
It just hasn't been working nearly as good this year. I noticed right off the bat this first ice up here that the fish were pretty finicky and they wanted it real slow, worked real easy right off the bottom. Now, I'm gonna take and I'm gonna bait this up and show everybody how I would do minnows on these. Now these minnows are pretty small. They're like an inch and a quarter long. I just simply hook it through the top of the head on the top hook. Then I take another one, and if it's a fairly decent sized minnow, then I'll hook him through the top of the head on the top hook, pop his head off, and then put the bottom half on the bottom treble. But you can see the way that is, as you come to a stop with these and just barely twitch it, see how that minnow goes? It is, I mean, it's just super enticing. The fish just can't hardly stand it. Now I see there's been 2 fish missed over here. One just missed here, one just missed here. So I guess what I'm gonna have to do is get out and show these guys how to catch these fish instead of letting them swim away.
Hey, somebody had to get us started, so.
Curtis, we just outfished you all day long yesterday.
One fish caught already, and they're already giving each other, the trash talk is started. Good job.
Thank you.
Oh, Les, nice one. You know, Les, turn to the camera. Ron Lang is sitting over there, and last time you were out lake trout fishing, he kind of gave you some crap.
He gave me a lot of crap.
So, how many fish has Ron got so far?
It's a big fat 0.
And so you kind of got ahead of him right away, huh?
Exactly.
Way to go. Good job. Did you see him on the electronics or just come in and hit suddenly?
I saw him. Yeah, I saw just a little blip.
Well, let's see that fish. That's a nice, good eater-sized walleye.
Yeah, really good.
You know, up here at Glendo, there's no size limit. You can keep 6. Now, we'll get a few bigger ones, I'm sure, but I tell you what, you get some nice fillets out of that.
Good eating.
Oh, yeah.
Real good eating.
All right, good job.
All right.
Go easy, I'll help you land it. All right. Oh, yeah, that's the way to go. Easy, I'll help you land it. You know, it wasn't a big, get down here, I want to talk to you. You know, it wasn't a big fish. It was a nice eater-sized walleye. And I'm telling him, I'm saying, go easy, I'll help you land it because it was a big fish. So what does he do? He gets out, boom! Now that's okay with a small one, but boy, you get a big one, be careful. We don't want to break it off.
That's it.
Well, way to go.
Thanks, buddy.
Now, who from Sun Honda hasn't caught a fish yet?
Willie and RL.
You know, I better not trash talk too much because you guys are a big sponsor. I'm going to get in trouble with your boss.
Yeah, the boss hasn't caught one yet today.
Seriously, though, what do you think about this trip? It's early in the day, coming up to Glendo. You get a bunch of these. Have you eaten much walleye?
I've never, ever fished for walleye.
I've never eaten them? Oh, when you take these home and cook them, you're going to find out why walleye is the second most popular fish in the Mountain States region and one of the most popular fish in the world. And these are nice, healthy eater fish, folks. We're not catching giants, although I've caught fish in the 10-pound range here. That's just a nice eater-sized walleye. And Pat took the time to go fishing with Pat's spoons. He took the time to show you the technique and everything.
He did, absolutely.
But he sets you out here. You still got to do it, and that satisfaction of doing it is fun.
Yes,
so what do you think so far?
I'm having a great time, like always, Terry. I'm having a great time. Lots of fun ice fishing with you guys.
I think, seriously, we got to get Ron on some fish because I don't want him to get mad because he still signs the checks.
That's a fact. You better go help him.
I better go. Easy, Mark. Easy. Easy.
Good one. This is a good one.
Easy. Let's make sure we get
Reel
it.
it up, Terry. It's not reeling.
Good.
It's not reeling.
That's a 9-pound walleye.
Is it a fish?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Go easy. Go easy. Just ease it up to the hole. Big fish on, we think.
Oh, yeah. It's good.
Oh, yeah. Come on. And when you get the head in the hole, don't pull anymore. We want to see the head. We want to work the head up through the hole.
Oh, yeah. That's a cart, no?
Oh,
look at that
big
catfish.
cat! Big catfish!
Look right, hooked it.
Hooked on my glove. Here, go ahead and get took a big catfish. All right, Mark. You know, people tend to think of catfish as a warm water species, Pat, but cats are catchable through the ice. Come on down here, Mark. Come on down here.
We catch.
Or get your chair and pull it up here.
We
so I can get some-
absolutely catch
I'll get it.
oodles
I got it.
of these fish in here. And I'll tell you, it's amazing that catfish just love metal. I mean, we are tipping these today with minnows, but over the past 10 years of doing this up here, we'll catch numerous cats this big and up to 18 pounds on bare spoons.
I caught one day through the ice in the Mississippi River 65 pounds of catfish on nothing but spoons.
Yep.
Way to go, Mark. Have you ever caught a channel cat before?
Never.
Mark just started ice fishing with us up at Glendo up at Granby a couple years ago, and then they set this Glendo trip up, and we're going to have to get a picture of you with that one.
Very nice.
Now everybody get ready, because guess what? When somebody catches a cat, there's more to be had.
All right, catfish, walleyes, Glendo Reservoir. Pat O'Grady, the guys from Sun Honda, PK Spoons, and beautiful Chamber of Commerce weather.
Yep.
Awesome, guys.
All right.
Okay, wow, let me see that. That's awesome. We've been walleye fishing out here. We caught some catfish, and we were talking to Curtis Fields earlier, and he said there was a nice population of big perch here. And you nailed one. Now, we're not fishing for them. Almost makes a guy want to downsize and see if he can catch a bunch of these perch, because we're seeing these big schools come through. Those big schools that come through could be schools of perch. We think they're bait fish, and of course to the big walleyes these are bait fish, but that's a nice eating size perch. Next to walleyes, there isn't a better fish. So we've caught catfish, walleyes, and perch out here at Glendo, and you've been the man today.
Hey, I've been lucky for the last 2 times I went out fishing.
All right.
This time I'm in.
Well, I got to decide whether I'm going to let these folks go back to a break or something. Then I'm going to go see if I can figure out whether I want to fish for perch or walleyes.
There you go.
What do you think? This is a little different ice fishing for you. You fished a few times with Bernie up at Granby. Now we're out with Pat here on Glendo with the walleyes. A little different scenario.
Yeah, it is, Terry. You know, I'm having a good time. The weather's absolutely beautiful. Pat's doing a great job with us, and it's awesome, man. You can't beat a day of fishing.
And, you know, before we were locked up in the huts in a remote part of Granby, and it was our group and a bunch of people. Some of them we know, most of them I know from the past when I fished up here before and stuff. Ice fishing, you're finding the social side of ice fishing where guys are fishing the same area, a lot of interaction, different people around. It's kind of neat, and everybody's catching fish all through here.
Yeah, absolutely. We got a lot of guys here today, and that's fun. That's what it's all about, coming up and enjoying the weather, catching some fish, and enjoying everybody's company.
And who's got the biggest fish so far?
That would be me.
You are the big catfish.
Yes, sir.
I tell you what, Pat, come on over here. You know, we're talking. I mean, of course, Mark works for Sun Honda, and what I really wanted to mention too was that the value of an ATV in this kind of ice fishing.
Oh, you can't. You know, you can go out and walk and find these fish and catch them, but you're going to really work hard for them.
Well, you know, the thing too is we came out here, and fortunately Pat knows the lake, and he found some spots where we're on fish right away, but this could slow down, and we may have to move, or there might not have been fish here in the beginning, and we would have had to slow down. We would have had to go looking right away, Pat. I mean, sometimes you can spend the first half of the day looking before you find fish.
Yeah, a lot of times I come up here and, you know, I might run 1 mile to 1.5 miles of shoreline fishing every like 50 yards. And I don't like to come into a specific area and drill a lot of holes at first if I haven't fished it recently and know there's fish there. I'll come in and run 4 to 6 holes, saying 30 to 45 foot, and basically jig them about 50 to 75 jigs a hole. And if we don't get bit in one of those holes or catch a fish, then we basically move.
You're moving, and on a lake the size of Glendo, like Pat says, you could walk it, but man, you may never find the fish. You'll spend the whole day walking, looking around. And of course, this is a great time to tell people that if they're going to do this, they ought to have an ATV from Sun Honda. So what kind of units did you bring out here today, Mark?
Well, you know, we've got a couple units out here today. You know, we do the full line of Honda, Kawasaki, and Polaris ATVs, you know, and every manufacturer makes a great brand, you know. But I think one thing that Pat's, you know, saying for sure that the viewers don't understand, you know, it's one thing when we come up here with you, Terry, and we come up with Pat and guys like Bernie Keefe that know the lake, you know, it's a whole nother thing to come up here on your own and really look for the fish, you know, and I think that's ultimately where it's at, you know, is the ATVs make you so much more mobile as far as getting around and
hauling
you know,
your stuff and
yeah,
keeping you
absolutely.
comfortable.
Getting your stuff out here, getting the fish traps. I mean, you know, today is just absolutely gorgeous. We're not even using any, you know, cover, any shelter or anything like that, but it's awesome, you know.
And it's just tremendous. And almost any four-wheeler will work out here in this kind of condition, won't it?
Yeah, no doubt about it. You know, I mean, we've got, you know, like I say, the full line of all three brands. But even on top of that, you know, no matter how deep the snow gets, we got the track system, as you know, Terry, for the ATVs, and those flat out, you got to really work to get one of those stuck. So, absolutely.
I'll tell you what, I'm going to get back and catch some fish. Let you catch one. Pat, I'm going to walk over to a hole here, but I do want to talk to you real quick here. Let's get over here. Today we're using your
That's called my flutterfish. I actually
flutterfish. And the other one that I fished with you in the past was the PK spoon.
And the reason that we're actually fishing the flutterfish more today than the PK is because
the color?
I came onto this color not too long ago, and it's been super productive for me. And I just happened to have a bunch of those painted up and ready, and I haven't had a chance to do any PKs in this particular color.
Now, do you have a preference for either spoon? It depends on the condition and what's working, but you know, last time we used mostly PK spoons.
Last time we were earlier in the year, and there was a big shad die-off because it was fairly early, and them shad really take hits the first cold shots, and we were basically fishing
through the dying shad.
Through the dying shad, and we were fishing the PK shad spoon, and absolutely.
In fact, I've got a PK shad spoon. We'll put one up on the screen here, and I'll take one of these and we'll put it up on the screen, give you a close-up comparison of them.
Yeah, and that thing would barely get to the bottom, and we'd have fish on it almost every time.
Well, that day, I remember we caught about 100 fish that day.
Yeah.
And all of them were nice keeper-sized walleyes. We didn't get any catfish that time, though. Those have really come on. We're catching a catfish, but the catfish would hit the PK spoon just as well as they would hit this.
Yeah, we actually, I make some big PKs that are about 3.5 inches long and 1.5 inches wide. And when them cats are in the area, boy, they love that big spoon.
I'll tell you what, I got to go back and catch some more fish.
Yeah, I want to see you catch looks like you're going to have to catch about 50 more here.
Another one of the Sun Honda. You're on the Harley. Our Harley side. Another one of the Sun guys. Almost called. There we go. All right.
Finally.
All right, Willie. So have you walleye fished before through the ice?
Not through the ice.
You walleye fished?
I've done Canada and...
So you know what walleyes taste like.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, unlike Kite's over there going, I've never fished for walleyes before. He's led a sheltered life.
Yes, he has.
Nice eating sized walleye. Well, you know what? I've been running around from hole to hole. I'm not getting the fish enough. I got to go catch one of my own. Otherwise,
the only
one I'm going to beat is going to be Ron. Did I say that out loud? It's not contract time, is it, Ron? There, that didn't take long. Camera wasn't even hardly ready, so you probably didn't see a whole lot of me playing that fish. But I'll tell you what we did. We were catching a lot of fish this morning. We pulled in. We probably got started a little later than we could have, but we were probably fishing by 7:45, 8 o'clock. Caught a bunch of fish. I got fish on the electronics. I want to get back down here. But what we did was the bite really quit where we were. The fish probably moved out of there. And we couldn't see them on the electronics. Nobody's getting bit. So Pat went and drilled some holes here and a few other spots. And we drilled a spot across the bay. Went over there and had lunch because it was sheltered. A little bit of breeze had come up. And just have to go move. And that's where the ATVs really come in handy. Went over to the spot where we had lunch. Fished it hard while we were cooking lunch. Caught one perch but didn't get anything else there. So we decided we're going to finish the day on another move. So what we did, went back and oh, we got Ron Lang with a fish on. Go ahead and film Ron. Ron's got a fish he won't show us. All right. His bite is taking off, so I got fish down on my screen here. I want to get back to him. But what I was trying to tell you is that we didn't catch fish before we were interrupted by these guys catching fish. So we didn't catch any. We caught one perch over we had lunch after we had made that first move. Well, we knew that we're going to have to move again if we're really going to get another middle of the day bite, which can be a little tougher. Pat had come over, drilled some holes in this spot just down from where we caught the other fish, hoping the fish had moved here. So we got on the ATVs, and they got another one over there. They're catching them like crazy. got on the ATVs. Oh, that's a nicer one, Mark. Got on the ATVs. I got to get back fishing. Made another move and came over here. It just shows you the value of being mobile. The ATVs are helping us with that. But when you're walleye fishing especially, the bite quits. If there aren't fish there, you got to go find them. You got to make some moves, drill some holes. It's not uncommon to drill 50, 75, 100 holes in a day if you got a number of people out. Keep moving, find the fish. We found them again. The bite's on, so I'm going to go back and catch some more. Well, guys, I think we're going to call it a day. It wasn't the easiest fishing in the world, but we ended up with a bag of fish.
We did.
I tell you what, it's one of those, you know, it proved the point we were out here for, that this was the kind of day, if you didn't have mobility, you might not have got fish.
Yeah, or very few.
And, you know, we had to hop around. We did a lot of moving. We did a lot of work. Who had a good time?
Awesome.
Yes,
It really was.
good time.
Yep, I want to thank you, Pat. We enjoyed it.
We ran into some of our old friends that you've seen fishing us up here before. We had Curtis Fields and his group, and we ran into them and did some fishing with them today. So it was kind of a social event on the ice. We caught a bunch of walleyes. It took some work. I don't think anybody caught a whole bunch, but everybody caught some. Mark got that big catfish, and there's going to be a fish fry coming out of that. And we got a long drive home. You know, we could probably stay. We're getting towards evening. Pat and you and I both know the walleye bite will probably turn on again.
Me and my friends are gonna stick around here. Usually about 4 to 5, they'll get a good bite going again. So we're hopefully gonna stick around and try to catch 18 more quick ones.
All right. Well, I'll tell you what. We're going to leave you today, but if I was you, I'd stay tuned, because I've got a feeling our friends from Sun Honda are hooked on ice fishing. And Ron, I think we're going to see you on the ice again.
You betcha.
All right.
Terry, thanks again.
Join us next week on Mountain States Fishing.